Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I guess what I'm hearing is that, no, we don't know what the local cost will be to our schools. And while I appreciate personal conversations with MDE, the fiscal note is very clear that there will be a local fiscal impact. It says very specifically, schools will have to incur costs to modify their point of service tracking systems. That is a must. They will have to. CEP participation mandates both breakfast and lunch meal service. This mandates this. They must serve both. So schools may have to add breakfast or lunch meal service in order to participate in the program, which is going to increase staffing and food costs. So the fiscal note is very clear. So while I appreciate personal conversations, the fiscal note is very clear that there will be local costs to our school districts. And the problem I have with this, of course, is that this is what we like to call around here an unfunded mandate. We don't know what that estimate is. We don't know how much our school districts will be charged or what the expenses will be for them, but we know it's going to happen. You know, we had an opportunity tonight to put this money into the formula, where it would have gone directly to our schools, where they could have made the best use for their students. They could have chosen how to use that money best to serve their kids. And in some districts, that might be through increased spending on school meals. That they might have said, you know what, to create a learning environment for our kids, we need to invest more in school meals. But I suspect that there are a lot of schools who would have said, you know what, this increase in our general fund is going to help us provide additional programming that we can't do right now. It's going to help us provide additional services to our special ed kids that we can't do right now. But we voted against that, and instead of putting that money into the budgets of our school districts and their general funds, we're going to force our schools to use their general funds to meet this mandate, because that's the only way they can do it. School districts are absolutely going to incur costs from this unfunded mandate, and their only option will be to pull money from their general fund. Pull money that is currently paying their teachers, paying for programming. Sadly, it's providing money to their special ed cross subsidy. And instead of doing those things, they're going to have to pull money from their general fund and use it for this. And we were very excitedly told that this bill is about feeding children. And it is, but here's the problem. This bill is about feeding my children. This bill is about feeding my children. This is not about feeding the kids who need it. If it was, we would have accepted Representative Knutsen's amendment tonight. That would have raised the limit to 275% of the federal poverty line. This would have included a lot more families who actually do need this. And it would have served those families well. But instead, we are using taxpayer dollars to feed my children. And I did some math. The average, according to the fiscal note, is that this will cost about $4 a day per kid, per child in their schools. $4 a day. The average school year across the state is 172 days. That equals $688 per kid per year. I have 2 kids in public schools at the North Branch High School right now. That means that the taxpayers are subsidizing me to the tune of $1,376. That means right tonight, you are giving me a $1,376 tax break. Me. That's my benefit from this bill. And I'll tell you what, I will gladly trade my $1,376 so that my senior citizens, the constituents that I have in my district, my senior citizens can stop paying taxes on their Social Security income. Instead, you're paying me. This bill is absurd. Every single person in this chamber wants to feed kids who need it. Every single member of this chamber would absolutely support raising that limit. Let's raise that limit to 275% of the poverty line. Let's include more kids in this program. Let's do that if they need it. But instead, you're giving me this money. You're telling me that I need a $1,376 payment, that I need that tax relief. Well, I'm here to tell you I will gladly give it up if we can finally take care of the senior citizens in my district who deserve relief on their Social Security taxes.